Hi everybody, it's Agnes and I have got an interesting success story for you today for how to manifest a specific person. Today it is from a man, not a woman, Marvin from the USA. So this is Marvin's story, and also another point I want to make, it took him 5 years. Okay, for those of you that are continually saying, how long is this going to take? And it's taken me, there's been over 6 months or over a year or over 3 years or whatever. This will be a good story for you. Okay, so it goes like this. Hi Agnes, my name is Marvin. First, let me say I'm a huge fan of yours and I've been following you for a couple of years now. You are definitely my favorite when it comes to LOA teaching. Thank you, Marvin. That's lovely. And if you would like to do an interview about my specific person, letter I am writing to you so we can make this happen as well. So we're going to be doing that too. So on to my story, condensed version. I wanted to share this with you and your followers because my time frame is much longer than most people that seem to get back their specific person. And also I am Black and I am a man in America. And a lot of people that come from where we come from don't have this knowledge or care to pay attention to it. So I want people that look like me and that are male to know from me personally that this works. Because it seems like only women open up and talk about this type of stuff. So here it goes. My specific person broke up with me in the fall of 2013 in November, I believe it was. I was 23 at the time. And as you can imagine, I was devastated. The first woman I ever really loved. I met her in the fall of September 2012. I was 22. Our relationship was great, but we used to argue about the dumbest stuff, and she was extremely emotional. She had anxiety and it showed. I knew there was something deeper going on with her than me because the frequency she would get mad at and what she would get mad at just didn't make any sense. We never argued about big things like cheating, stealing, lying, physical abuse, or verbal abuse. We never had any of those issues. Our issues were extremely petty and fixable. I used to walk on eggshells trying not to make her mad, but somehow I always ended up making her mad. Ha ha ha. So first she broke up with me in April 2013. Then I reached back out to her in June of that summer and we got back together. But nothing changed and we still had petty fights. Up until she broke up with me in the fall of 2013. She had gone away on a trip for a month and came back and we were still in contact. But in winter, February of 2014 was the last time I talked to her and she ended things for good. A couple of months later, I tried writing a letter and sending it to her. I even paid off her credit card bill without her knowing, which had a balance of like $800 plus USD, and still not a word from her. Not a thank you, nothing. So I tried randomly texting her about a year later, but nothing. During the spring, summer of 2014 is when I began really learning about ancient teachings because of my friend at the time who was into Hermetic teachings, alchemy, and stuff like that. I eventually started coming across Abraham Hicks, Neville Goddard, Florence Scovel Shinn, etc. In fact, I think the very first book I read was The Game of Life and How to Play It, and I loved it. Marvin, that was my first book too, before Neville. A friend of mine gave me that book, and yeah, it's funny how that first book really impacts you, and you never forget it. God bless YouTube. Yes, I agree. I must have read it 5 times back to back, and then I started learning about Joseph Murphy and I read his book, The Cosmic Power Within, and it was life-changing. So I continued my studies and then I found out about Ho'oponopono. That's when I realized I needed to heal myself and forgive myself. I knew it wasn't my fault, and the more time that went by only confirmed it. Long story short, I read book after book, too many to name, on law of attraction, and I came across your channel. I don't remember when, but I'm glad I did. I really began falling in love with myself, as you always teach, and I thought I'd construct imaginal scenes. I'm always a very optimistic person, so it was easy for me to try to figure this whole imaginal scene thing out. I think I was healed relatively quickly from the situation. The following years, I was just focused on building my real estate business. I really began putting into practice what you teach in about 2018, maybe a bit sooner. Every morning, I'd start my day exactly how you do, except with a little twist. I'd wake up feeling grateful, and then I just kept saying, thank you. I would also throw in smooth jazz music and listen to it as I lay in bed for an hour. Marvin, I love that. I love that. And your name being Marvin, you know, Marvin Gaye was such a huge part of my growing up and still a part of the music I listen to today. So when I saw your name, I thought that is just such a lovely link. So moving on with Marvin's story. I stopped worrying about my SP and I just lived life blessing her. The imaginal scene I constructed was imagined me being in my bedroom and getting a text message from her, texting my name and then saying it was her. I then got excited and immediately texted a good friend of mine what happened. This was the imaginal scene that I did in my mind some mornings and nights. I didn't do it every night or every morning, just when I felt like doing it. I don't know exactly how many months I did it for or when I started, but I know I really focused on it in 2018. I then added to my imaginal scene of me being in my car driving to go see her, and I was in my car saying, wow, I can't believe I'm on my way to see her. At the end of October, in the fall of 2018, I was in my room and it was almost midnight. And someone sent me a text, and guess what? It was my SP. She texted my name and then told me it was her. I knew it was her because I recognized the phone number she still had, and it was the same. My heart began pounding. I then, immodestly, began walking around my room in excitement and texted a good friend of mine the same way I had done in my imaginal scene. My friend couldn't believe it. 5 years had gone by since we last had seen each other and talked, my SP and I. So she texted me and told me that she'd never stopped caring about me and that whatever had happened back years ago had nothing to do with me, but it was her fault and her issues. I told her I understood and it was okay. We are not currently together in the fall of 2019, but we have been developing a friendship since the end of October 2018. She has gone through a lot emotionally and mentally since we broke up, and we are taking it slow. We still call each other pet names, but we haven't made it official yet. I am also continuing doing my self-love and listening to jazz every morning before I wake up, which is, I think, a must. Once your SP comes back, do not stop laying your foundation of self-love. Keep improving it. And yes, I'm so grateful for you and the platform you've created. I'm here to tell everyone what Agnes teaches works tremendously. As you see, 5 years has passed and I'm still able to get my SP back. Do the work on yourself. Thanks, Agnes. Marvin, that is beautiful. I wish I could put a little clip of sexual healing at the end of this. Beautiful, beautiful. So, Marvin, beautiful story. Like you said, you're not officially together yet, but things are moving nicely. The turtle wins the race. You're taking it slow, laying good foundation, still working on your self-love. Continue improving it. When I read this, it just makes me really excited because what I hear is that your self-love is stable, steady, beautifully, and that you are able to radiate love to her. I love how you said that in your story about, you know, I just would bless her. And you stop trying to get, and you stop trying to get attention, try and get her to text you, whatever. You just went, I'm stopping and I'm working on me. So what's wonderful about your story is the fact that it did take a long time, so it will inspire those that it's taking a while for them. And the fact that you're male, because as you said, a lot of women talk about this, but a lot of men don't. So thank you for taking the time to share your story. And I'm sure that the viewers will enjoy the interview that we do. And I'm going to email you today and we're going to schedule a time. So, everybody, lots of love. Be inspired by Marvin. And I will put all the links to Joseph Murphy, Neville Goddard, Florence Scovel-Shinn. They do a lot of audio books on YouTube. So I'll put the links to the audio books so you can have a look at that. And for those of you that want to buy the books, of course, go to Amazon or any of your book online sellers in your own country. And I will also put down below anything else that Marvin and I not discussed, but what I read that he mentioned, I will put that down below. So lots of love, everybody. Good to see you again. I did take a bit of a week off, been traveling to France to see my family and now back in Sydney, Australia. So I was just taking a pause on the YouTubing and now back on deck from Sydney, Australia. Lots of love, and I will see you, you know when and you know where.